Hey, so here's why the CAGED system is wrong. Not wrong, but counterintuitive for your development as a guitar player. First, let's explain the CAGED system, why I think it's flawed, and then I'll show you 3 other steps that's a much healthier approach to unlocking the fretboard. When you get a second, please subscribe to the channel and like this video or dislike this video, and please share it. First, let's explain how the CAGED system works. You start off learning all these open shapes, all these open chords like C, A, G, E, and then D, which spells caged, right? So the premise is you keep those shapes as you move up the fretboard. But here's the first problem with caged. The fingerings are going to change, so the shapes are different. The shapes are different here because you have open strings. The principle with caged is you need to bar. So already we found a problem. So here's our C, open C. Here's our A-shaped C. Now we've run into the big problem why caged is faulty. This is not an A. This is a C. I don't want students to think that this C is anything but a C. The next shape up is a G shape. This, incredibly difficult to play. You have to bar the 5th fret and then play like an open G shape here, but up here, which is totally different than this, or this, whatever fingers you use. That's a lot easier than this. I get it. The pattern's the same. But again, you don't want to think the note or the chord G when you're playing a C major. First of all, nobody's going to play that in a song. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you will. I would opt for playing this triad like this, which is the bottom 3 notes of that G-shaped C. Next up is our E-shaped G, which is just a basic bar chord. Again, I don't want to have to think about an open E chord while I'm playing a C. Next up is our D-shaped C, and look at this. We use fingers 1, 2, 4, and 3 for this D-shaped C. Again, that's pretty counterintuitive to me. But when we play this D, we use fingers 1, 3, 2. A much more relaxed, comfortable shape. The shapes are fine, and they exist on the guitar, and that's all very good. And this does help people. So I'm not saying to not use the CAGED system. I think there are some benefits to it for helping map out where different notes are on the fretboard. But there's a couple of other theories that you can use that are much more helpful and much healthier for your development as a guitar player. The first thing is mastering the chromatic scale, and I don't mean playing it like that. I mean playing it on one string, but while you play it, to map out every single note that exists on the fretboard. E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E. And then the same thing on the A string. A sharp or B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A. Now our goal there is to memorize all of those notes. It's only 12 notes. The next step I would tell a student is to memorize octaves. So let's take this G here. And you can play those 3 different G's based on the shape of the octave. And you can find your G up on the 5th string, 10th fret. So you can memorize as many G's as possible. Something that I see a lot of YouTube guitar teachers do is say that the CAGED system unlocks the fretboard. Now I think that's more of a sales tactic than anything. But what unlocks the fretboard the most is the combination of knowing the bottom 2 strings and all the notes via the chromatic scale, memorizing your octaves, and third, your circle of fourths. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, playing all your scales and arpeggios, and building chords off of those notes. That is a much healthier, broad picture, and you're not thinking about another step. You're not thinking about an A shape when you're playing a B flat. That's a half step apart. So there are some plus sides to CAGED. Obviously, you get these different chord shapes. So that's kind of helpful. Let's give the CAGED system a round of applause.
And there was much rejoicing.
CAGED is an extra step. It's counterintuitive, and it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Let's look at it with a different chord. Let's start with F. There's an F, but that's an E shape. To me, E's down here. Totally different sound, totally different notes in the chord. So that's my E-shaped F. There's my D-shaped F. Here's my C-shaped F, which to me is a little bit different than playing this C up here. And if you look at it, it looks to me a lot more like a D shape than it does a C shape because of what's happening up in the top strings. Anyway, we've got our E-shaped F, our D-shaped F, our C-shaped F, our A-shaped F. Again, there is an A in the note in the chord there. That's the third of the F, but that has nothing to do with why they call it an A-shaped F. Again, I think it's a bit counterintuitive. And finally, the G-shaped F, which nobody plays, I don't think.